Mark and I are on the road again today. We're not going very far. We're going to Oak Grove, about 30 minutes from us. We're going to one of our old neighbors that, well, he's not really that old, but he was a neighbor a while back. That's what I mean.
He used to be a neighbor.
Yes, he used to be a neighbor, and he is an amazing guy who has a lot of hay that he has piled up and composted, and he's going to fill the back of our truck. And that's what I'm really excited to plant our potatoes in. So we are going to go see how much he has. If he has enough, I'm going to see if we can go back and get another pile to just spread in other places of our garden, because it'll be amazing if it's broken down as much as he has led me to believe. They have horses that they raise, and their little girl used to drive up our big old long 6/10 of a mile driveway in their little gator, and then she also had a little dune buggy, was it? And she and her friend
drove like a maniac.
Yes, she and her friend would come up in their pajamas on a Saturday morning, and I'd feed them breakfast, and we just had a good time. So I'm excited. We'll see how much we can get today, how much will fit in the truck, and if we can come back for more. Okay, we're following the tractor down to the huge, over a year old pile of composting straw. He gave me another option, but it had fresh, fairly fresh horse manure in it, so it was going to be too hot. So we're going to look at these piles down here and see what we can do. So this is the pile we're going to take from. This side is really nice and older. This side is still a little fresh, but it's got older manure in it. It'll still be okay. And we're just really excited to have this. It doesn't have a lot of gravel in it like the Zumanu does. There's a tiny little bit, but they have a gravel driveway, so that's expected. This right here, that's some good stuff, you guys. I'm so excited. We're gonna try to fill the truck up today and then maybe come back another time. I had to cut the black fabric that we had underneath that the potato boxes set on last year. So I just cut it, and now I have to lift it up and get it out of here. I figured it'd be easier to do in strips like this than a whole thing. So now I just will take the next section, find it here, and cut it and kind of clean it off and pull as I go. Goes pretty well. We're also digging up the grass that was along the edge here that was not covered. Actually, hold on, Mark. I want to show them this. This is my arch enemy. This is Bermuda grass. And this is my biggest fear about planting in the ground instead of over cardboard or something. But we're just gonna see what we can do this year. See if it works. If not, we'll just have to cover it next year. So he's just evening up the corner here so that it's all nice and not grassy. So this is where the sweet potatoes were planted last year. They did not have the fabric under them. Look at this beautiful soil. I love it. So while I'm in the house helping my mom with some things, Mark unloaded all of the compost that we picked up yesterday. He was really fast. Like, I was about ready to go out and help him, but I guess I don't need to. All right, Mark got all of the compost out on the ground where we're going to plant the potatoes. He had to run and go to a meeting at school. So it looks like I'm planting potatoes with you today. So thanks a lot for coming along. And I kind of wish you were really here. But I will make do with just knowing you're on the other side of the camera. I did want to say that if you have a community garden in your area, they might have some really good information for you if you have questions about different plantings and stuff like that. My community garden sent these out with their newsletter this month that tells you how to grow potatoes. Now, I also watched a couple of videos. I watched Jag. I don't know if you guys watch Jag, but he also taught me some ideas about planting potatoes. But I have to say that I'm not following everybody's ideas because I'm just not. One of the things that Jag says is that if a potato has more than 2 eyes on it, you need to cut them or you need to take them off completely. And I'm not going to do that. We went to a local nursery and we got 3 different kinds of potatoes. We got Yukon Gold, Kennebec White, and Dakota Pearls. We didn't measure a pound of them or whatever. We just counted out. We counted 20 of each. So they ranged anywhere from 2.85 to 4.44 pounds, depending on the size of the potatoes. I tried to get the smaller ones so that they would have less chits on them. I wanted to tell you that we spent $17.21 on seed potatoes. And I looked up at the store what potatoes are going for right now, and they're going for about $3.85 a pound. So that means if we grow only 5 pounds from this almost 11 pounds of potatoes that we're planting, we will have made our money back. So anything over 5 pounds will be a plus. The compost was free, and our labor is something we love. So I'm not even going to charge Mark for planting these potatoes. But if I did, he probably couldn't afford it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get these potatoes planted. I have my tub here that has all 3 potato types in it. I have a measuring tape so that I'm sure to space them like I'm supposed to, because I know last year I put them way too close together. I'm going to go ahead and throw my potato planting guide in there because that tells me how far apart to plant them. I've got twine so that I can make my straight lines and a pair of scissors to cut it with. I have some bamboo poles outside that I'll grab. And then I have a quart of my Berkey filtered water to take out with me in case I get thirsty. I'm also adding these temporary markers for my rows. I have a plan for my markers that I use every year out of PVC pipe. So I grabbed these out of our wood scrap bin and figured they would go in the ground fairly easily because of the pointed bottoms on them. So they will be my temporary markers. Let's do this. Okay, so here is the pile of compost. We are going to pick up this cardboard. We thought we wanted to stretch this out, but we didn't think we'd have enough compost to do that right now. So we'll be picking that up and using it at a later date, but it kind of helped outline where Mark needed to throw the compost. We did have some grass on this side that he kind of dug up right along right there. So we were trying to avoid having grass in our potatoes to start with. I don't believe this is my arch nemesis grass. No, this is not Bermuda grass, I don't think. Let me see here. Oh, wait, maybe it is. Well, that's not. But it has Bermuda grass in it, obviously. So we were trying to avoid the Bermuda grass. Oh, hi, little wormy. We were trying to avoid the Bermuda grass going into the potato bed. But like I said earlier, I don't know if we can keep that from happening. In my food forest, I just keep covering and putting cardboard down and covering, and it just keeps coming back. So it's just something we have to deal with. But what I'm going to do now, I already started a little bit, is I'm going to take the hill out of this pile, kind of spread it all evenly. Then I'm going to decide where I want my 3 rows, or however I'm going to do that, and mark them out with rope so that I can get some nice straight potato plants going, and we'll go from there. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So now I'm going to run my strings for my rows and start planting potatoes. So my paper that I have from the community garden says I can plant my potatoes 9 to 12 inches apart. This whole span here is 7.5 feet. So ideally, I should get at least 5 rows with 12 inches apart. So I'm thinking I'm going to try to fit 6 rows so that I can have 2 rows of each potato. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to use a potato to visually lay this out. That is 9 inches apart. I'm going to go to 11 inches apart and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to keep it at 11 inches apart, but I'm going to shift them all to the other side a little bit so that they're even on both sides. This is where I'm going to put my posts and make my lines and plant my potatoes, 2 rows of each. So I measured the side and it's 13.5 feet. So this bed is 7.5 by 13.5. So I think I'm going to spread the potatoes a little further apart than 12 inches to give them a little bit more growing space since I'm leaving extra chits on them. And then I can also plant some other plants that are supposed to be really good for planting with potatoes. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna do the first 2 rows of Yukon Gold. Went ahead and put my name tag in there because you guys, I'm terrible at labeling things. I always mess up. I'm just going to kind of lay them out and space them visually again like I did at the other end instead of measuring. And then I can measure for the rest of the rows. I know I'm going to put 10 in each row. I'm gonna lay all of these out before I do any planting so that I'm sure that they were spaced properly and I am able to fit them all in and not have to adjust, because that happens sometimes. All right, let's get them planted. I forgot to tell you, we're planting them with the chits facing up. I just can't even tell you how lovely this compost is. And it was free, you guys. If you know somebody that has hay, that grows hay and bales hay, they probably have a pile of stuff somewhere that they couldn't sell, or it fell apart, or they took it out of their horse arena or something. Go look for it. You might get it for free too. I had to go in and get my little hand trowel because I had stepped on some of the soil and it kind of compacted it. So I decided to play twister and start in the middle of the bed, try not to step on potatoes, plant those, and then go backwards to plant so that I don't end up stepping on the ones that I already planted and compacting them in there. Okay, they're all planted. Now, Mark bought me a bale of straw, you see over there, so that I can cover this up so that the moisture stays in. And it's supposed to rain here tomorrow, so I'm not gonna water them in right now because I'm sure we'll get plenty of rain. And if we don't, I'll water them after that. I'm gonna leave that string and post up so that when I wanna plant something else in this bed, like alyssum or something like that, then I will know where my first row of potatoes are, and I can measure 11 inches over from that and know that the space in between the 11 inches could be planted with something. That's how you do it. At least that's how we do it on Open Hand Farm. Thanks so much for coming along with me today. It was so nice to know you were here and I wasn't all by myself. And hopefully we'll get some good potatoes this year. Now, the plan is to go back and get more compost. So as the potatoes grow through the straw, then we will continue to add compost on top of that. That way, the compost will decompose the straw and put it into the compost that's below, and we will have some amazing rich soil here next year also. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And until next time, blessings on you and yours.